appreciate that question because it also affirms the idea that moral imagination is not soft and squishy. It's actually quite muscular, and it's a hard skill. And it does, if applied correctly, lead to systems change, in part because of the real hard edge in it. I was just in Kenya with a company that I don't know if it will succeed or fail. But what struck me and what gives me confidence in our investment is that the entrepreneur has so much moral imagination. In this case, it's an agricultural company, an aggregator that understands a lot about smallholder farmers. One of the co-founders has been working with farmers for 35 years and is very clear-eyed, knows that the agricultural system tends to be cash-oriented, highly corrupt, and holding very, very little trust at any level of the system. And so that moral imagination that he has the humility to recognize all of that mess, all of the dirtiness, all of the lack of trust and corruption. But he can see that if you can root that out, provide the right kind of inputs and training, and that includes moral leadership training all up the chain, and build a community of trust, maybe we could change the system. And I had this extraordinary experience with him last week when we went to see one of the farmers groups, and everybody was talking the same game that I've heard myself for 35 years. And finally I said, I need to ask you guys a question, because Peter is so different and he so understands and listens to who you are and what you need and is partnering with you, but I'm not really getting the sense that you are speaking as honestly right back to him. I'm getting the sense that you might still be side selling, still be lying about pricing. And I just want to know if this is ever going to change. And this elderly woman farmer said, "You're right. But look, these companies come every 2 years and then they leave. And if they're nonprofits, it's usually worse. We will change when they deliver." And I said, well, this is actually really exciting, because now we are having an honest conversation, at least. How do we move this forward? And the farmers started to give us ideas as well around their role in systems change. I ultimately believe that the system will really change once you start to see farmers owning shares of some of these larger companies that depend on the farmers for exporting beans and flowers into Europe for extremely high prices. That's the audacity to imagine what could be, but it's holding both that allows the moral imagination to flourish and then start to influence those systems. I also think I've learned now in some of the sectors in which we operate, like energy, where we have 40 companies that have reached 220 million low-income people. We know all the different parts of the ecosystem, so that then we can have a much larger collective voice at what needs to change for the larger system. But it's a combination of love and power, hard and soft, profit and purpose. And it's a comfort in holding both simultaneously and not being afraid of either.